In today's video, I'm going to share with you the easiest way to make $5 million a day as a solo player in GTA Online. I've done a few videos like this in the past, but I recently found a new trick that will make the grind faster and simpler. The first thing you'll need to do is pick up the Cayo submarine off the Warstock Cash and Carry website for 2.2 million, and that's because the Cayo allows us to do the Cayo Perico heist, which is the best way to make money in the entire game. The heist on average pays out between $1.3 to $1.5 million for about an hour's worth of work. And if you want to make things even faster, I do suggest getting the Sparrow helicopter, which can be stored in the back of the submarine. That makes the setup missions considerably faster. So with that being said, the first thing you'll need to do is a Cayo Perico heist. Now, if you need some help completing the heist, I will leave a link to my complete guide in the description down below. The first few times that you do it, it may take about an hour and a half to 2 hours to complete, just getting used to it. But once you get things going, you can complete it in as fast as 45 to 50 minutes. Now, once you complete the heist, there will be a 2.5 hour cooldown before you could do it again as a solo player. And this is where that trick comes into play, because it is a way to work around that cooldown. The trick is going onto your second character on your account. All you have to do is go into the pause menu, head over to online, go down to manage characters, and then you'll be put into the screen where it shows the two characters that are on your account. One is your main character that you've been playing on for some time now, and the other one is a fresh, brand new character. Now, if you guys don't know, the two characters on your one account actually share bank accounts. So on your main character, if you go and make $2 million and put it into the bank, you're then able to access that 2 million on your fresh new second character. And that is exactly what we're going to do in order to buy another Cayo submarine. So make sure you have 2.2 million on your main character in your character's bank account. Head over to the second character and purchase the Cayo submarine there. That will then allow you to do another Cayo Perico heist right after completing the first one. So in essence, we are bypassing that initial 2.5 hour cooldown. Now, if it's your first time doing this, you will have to go through the initial scope out missions and everything else for the Cayo Perico heist, because it does act as if you're doing it for the very first time. But that also means that you're also getting first time bonuses. So your first time playing through, you could make upwards of 2.2 to 2.3 million, but every time after that, it's going to be the regular 1.3 to 1.5 million for about an hour's worth of work. Now, of course, make sure any money that you make with this secondary character, you end up putting into the bank account. That way you can access it on your primary character. So to summarize, we first did a Cayo Perico heist on our main character. We then switched over to a secondary character and did another Cayo Perico heist on that character back to back, and right there we should have made about $3 million in 2 hours worth of work. So that's great money so far, but assuming that you did your second Cayo Perico heist in an hour, it means that there's still an hour and a half of a cooldown left on your main character. So all you got to do is go back to your main character and complete a Dre Contract, which can be accessed by owning an agency and completing a security contract. The Dre Contract acts like a major heist where there's 3 mini heists and 2 finales. It takes about an hour and a half to complete, which works out perfectly with the first Cayo Perico heist cooldown time of 2.5 hours. And once you complete that Dre Contract, you will earn $1 million. Once again, I do have a guide on how to complete it linked in the description down below if you need some help, but it's fairly simple and it's easy to do once you get used to it. So with that, you've now made $4 million in 3.5 hours of work. And the first Cayo Perico heist on our main character, the cooldown is now over. So to end off the day, you'll do one more Cayo Perico heist, making you 1.3 to 1.5 million in about an hour's worth of work, taking you well over the $5 million mark in just 4.5 hours. Now, if you do this stuff really quick, you could get it closer to 4 hours, which is great money for the amount of time you're spending. But if it takes you 5 hours, it's still making you great money. So with all that being said, here is a quick recap. First, do a Cayo Perico heist on your primary character, then switch over to your secondary character and do a Cayo Perico heist right after it. Once that's done, you could then do a Dre Contract on your primary character, and finally finish off with a Cayo Perico heist on your primary character. All in, if you're making max money from these different methods, you could be making 5.5 to even closer to $6 million in that time frame, but at the bare minimum, you should be making $5 million. Anyways, I hope that helped. I've seen a few comments about people saying switching back and forth between characters to skip cooldowns. I had never tried it myself, and I did quite a bit of testing, about 4 or 5 different situations where I did one Cayo Perico heist and then the next right after it to make sure that you really can skip the cooldown. It may take a few minutes before it tells you that you could start up the heist, but I promise you, you could skip it, and this is a great way to make some fast cash. Anyways, that's all. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.